What if the very walls designed to confine and restrict became the unexpected crucible for spiritual freedom? What if, within the harshest environments of incarceration, thousands are discovering not just a new faith, but a profound rediscovery of their own humanity? In the United States, a silent but powerful transformation is unfolding behind steel bars and towering fences, where tens of thousands of inmates are embracing Islam, finding meaning, discipline, and an unparalleled inner peace. This isn't just a statistic, it's a reality unfolding in countless lives, a testament to the enduring human search for purpose, even in the most desolate of places. Today we'll journey into the heart of this phenomenon, uncovering the deeply personal stories and profound reasons behind this remarkable surge of faith and how it's reshaping destinies from the inside out. Imagine a life stripped bare, the loss of freedom, the severing of family ties, the erosion of hope. This is the stark reality for millions within the American prison system. Many inmates arrive broken, their past mistakes weighing heavily, their identities often reduced to a number in a system designed for punishment, not redemption. In this environment of pressure, isolation, and constant restriction, the human spirit paradoxically often begins its deepest reflection. It is here, in the depths of confinement, that many individuals confront their lives head-on, seeking answers to the profound questions that perhaps they never had the time or inclination to ask outside. Who am I now? Is there any hope for change? Is there a purpose to this suffering? It's within this crucible of introspection that an unexpected path emerges for thousands. The path of Islam. It offers more than just a set of beliefs. It presents a comprehensive way of life that provides structure, meaning, and a sense of belonging in a world where everything else has fallen apart. This phenomenon, often overlooked or misunderstood by the outside world, reveals a powerful truth about the human soul's enduring hunger for connection and transcendence. The remarkable growth of Islam within U.S. prisons isn't a coincidence. It's the cumulative result of deeply personal transformations driven by several powerful factors. One individual who understands this phenomenon better than most is Ramansur, the dedicated founder of the Taba Foundation, the first organization in the United States to offer distance learning programs in Islamic education, specifically for inmates. Over the years, Taba has reached over 13,000 prisoners, with an astonishing estimated 90% of them embracing Islam while serving their sentences. Every day, Ramansur receives hundreds of letters from across the country, not mere pleas for help, but profound stories of a deep search for meaning, a desire to understand Islam not just as a religion, but as a way to find peace and a path to real change. So what are these powerful factors that lead so many prisoners to choose Islam as their way of life? When we hear the word prison, our minds immediately conjure images of confinement, restrictions, and the crushing loss of freedom. Yet, it is within this very environment where everything seems stripped away that many people begin a profound reflection on their lives. Inmates often arrive completely broken, having lost their families, their freedom, and frequently their very sense of hope. But in the depths of that isolation, some discover something that walls and bars can never confine: spiritual freedom. What exactly is this spiritual freedom? It's a liberation that transcends physical limitations. It's about finding inner peace, clarity, and a sense of purpose that no prison cell can ever take away. For countless inmates, Islam provides this profound sense of true freedom, allowing them to detach from the chaos of their past and focus on something infinitely greater than themselves. Islam offers a distinct structure and discipline, a stark contrast to the disordered lives many once lived. The 5 daily prayers, the clear guidelines for worship, and a way of life rooted in self-control and moral clarity provide something solid to hold on to when everything else has crumbled. Because there's a level of discipline, you submit to certain rules, you pray 5 times a day, and there's a clear structure to it, explains Ramansur. Many inmates who embrace Islam often express that they feel more free even while still behind bars, paradoxically more free than when they were living outside prison. Why? Because they are no longer controlled by their desires, destructive habits, or the negative influences that once pushed them into crime. For them, the prison walls no longer define their limits, for they have found true liberation in Islam, a freedom of the soul that transcends physical confinement. Most inmates find themselves in prison due to past mistakes, actions that may have harmed others, involvement in crime, or the destructive lifestyles they once led. For many, prison is a place where they feel utterly stripped of their identity, reduced to nothing more than a number in a dehumanizing system. But when they find Islam, something profoundly restorative happens. They begin to see themselves and the world in an entirely new light. Consider the impactful story of Amin Anderson. Before he embraced Islam, Amin was serving a daunting 30-year sentence for a gang-related murder. When he first entered prison, he felt utterly lost. He no longer saw himself as a human being, but merely just another criminal who had ruined his life. The crushing weight of guilt, regret, and the consequences of his past choices left him feeling utterly empty. But everything began to change when he discovered Islam. When I first came to prison, I had lost my humanity, but after accepting Islam, I got it back, he powerfully stated. Islam teaches deeply about forgiveness, redemption, and the profound possibility of a second chance, emphasizing that no matter how dark a person's past may be, there is always room for change. The faith underscores that God's mercy is infinitely greater than any sin, provided one sincerely repents and commits to a better path. This message profoundly resonates with inmates, constantly reminded of their past mistakes. Islam offers them hope, the hope that their past does not define them, but rather the conscious choices they make moving forward. Islam transcends mere rituals and prayers. It is a holistic way of life centered on self-discipline, continuous personal growth, and unwavering moral integrity. It actively encourages individuals to reflect deeply on their past actions, sincerely seek forgiveness, and diligently work towards becoming better human beings. The concept of tawbah, or sincere repentance, lies at the very heart of this transformation. It's not simply about feeling sorry, it's about making real, tangible changes, correcting past wrongs, and striving to be a better person every single day. For inmates, this becomes a critical turning point. They begin to treat others with kindness, cultivate self-control over their anger, and focus intensely on self-improvement. Many start studying, mentoring fellow inmates, and even actively helping others find their own sense of purpose. Islam imbues them with something many may have never experienced before: self-worth. They begin to perceive themselves not merely as prisoners, but as human beings inherently capable of profound growth and positive change. For them, Islam is far more than just a religion. It is a lifeline, a chance to reclaim their humanity, make peace with their past, and painstakingly build a future they can truly be proud of. A fundamental principle in Islam is that no one has the right to force or compel another person to accept the faith. As Muslims, the role is simply to introduce Islam to others, to share its profound message, and to live as a clear example of its teachings. The decision to embrace it is entirely personal. Many inmates who convert to Islam do so not because they were pressured or unduly influenced by others, but because they chose to explore it independently. In the profound solitude of prison, with ample time for deep reflection, they begin a sincere quest for answers about life's ultimate purpose and the possibility of redemption. For many, Islam is often the only religion that provides the clarity, coherence, and logical foundation they are desperately searching for. Take the illuminating story of Amin Anderson once more. Born Christopher Anderson in Philadelphia, he grew up in a Christian household with a father who was a pastor. Yet, despite his religious upbringing, he found himself drawn to the streets as a teenager. "I was completely addicted to drugs for about a year and a half," Anderson recalls. "I got involved with a group of guys who were selling drugs in our city." By his 20s, he was deeply entrenched in gang life, and his choices eventually led him to commit a crime that irrevocably changed his life, resulting in a conviction for gang-related murder and decades behind bars. Locked in a prison cell, abruptly cut off from the world he once knew, Anderson found himself consumed by existential questions he had never seriously considered before. What is the purpose of my life? Why am I here? Is there any hope for someone like me? With seemingly nothing but time on his hands, he began diligently studying different religions in a fervent search for answers. He immersed himself in books on Christianity, Buddhism, and other spiritual philosophies, but it was Islam that profoundly stood out to him. The more he read, the more it made sense. "I spent years in prison studying different religions," Anderson states. "Islam was the only one that made sense to me." He discovered that Islam provided profoundly practical and logical answers to the very questions that had haunted him for so long. It wasn't merely a set of beliefs, it was a comprehensive way of life, a coherent system that offered the structure, discipline, and clear purpose he had been desperately seeking. As Anderson's faith deepened, he felt an undeniable need to connect with someone who could guide him further. That's when he discovered the Taba Foundation. Through a consistent exchange of letters and phone calls, he began learning directly from Ramansur. "There's only so much you can do with self-study," Ramansur explains, so I started taking his calls, sending him materials, answering his questions, and essentially teaching him for nearly 17 years until he reached the point where he could teach others in prison. And now, having diligently served his sentence and been released, Anderson is doing precisely that. The man who once sought guidance is now a guide himself, teaching Islam to other inmates, helping them find the same profound sense of purpose and clarity that so fundamentally transformed his own life. One of the most remarkable aspects of Islam's impressive growth in US prisons is that many inmates convert not primarily because Muslim inmates actively preach or try to convert others, but simply by observing their consistent behavior and principled way of life. According to the National Institute of Corrections, NIC, incidents of prison radicalization among Muslim inmates are exceedingly rare, with little to no evidence suggesting that Islam in prison is linked to violence or extremist ideologies. On the contrary, the reality is quite the opposite. Muslim inmates are often among the most disciplined, peaceful, and consistently law-abiding individuals behind bars. Ramansur further explains that the majority of inmates who embrace Islam do so after witnessing the daily conduct of Muslim inmates. They notice that these individuals are different, Ramansur says. They see that these Muslims don't engage in fights, they don't get involved with drugs, and they consistently stay away from criminal activities. Then they start asking, "What makes you like this?" And the answer is Islam. A core teaching of Islam is the diligent development of good character and strong moral discipline. Islam profoundly emphasizes qualities such as honesty, unwavering patience, kindness, self-control, and unwavering responsibility, values that become even more critically significant in a challenging and often hostile environment like prison. In prison, where people are constantly watching each other, where there is minimal privacy and daily interactions are intensely charged, actions unequivocally speak louder than words. When fellow inmates observe a group of people who consistently maintain their dignity, remain calm and composed in stressful situations, and treat others with genuine respect, they naturally become deeply curious. Muslim inmates stand out because they adhere to a structured lifestyle meticulously, based on their faith. They faithfully wake up early for Fajr, dawn prayer. They diligently avoid conflicts, and they strictly follow clear rules regarding cleanliness, diet, and personal conduct. Many devoutly dedicate their precious time to reading the Quran, engaging in self-education and profound reflection, rather than immersing themselves in the typical prison culture of violence and sheer survival tactics. For non-Muslim inmates, witnessing these consistent behaviors firsthand is frequently the very first step toward their own spiritual journey. They begin to instinctively realize that Islam is not merely a set of disconnected rituals. It is a complete way of life that profoundly brings peace, unyielding self-discipline, and an undeniable sense of purpose. Islam teaches that true faith is not just about abstract belief, it must be profoundly reflected in one's actions. A true Muslim is expected to embody good character, which inherently includes honesty and integrity, requiring them to be truthful in all situations, even when it is difficult. They learn patience and self-control, understanding that reacting with anger or violence is a sign of weakness, while patience is a profound mark of strength. Kindness and compassion, treating others with respect, even those who have wronged you, is a core non-negotiable principle. The consistent practice of daily prayers, fasting, and consciously avoiding harmful behaviors cultivates an incredibly strong sense of discipline. And perhaps most compellingly, Islam teaches forgiveness and redemption, emphasizing that everyone has the genuine chance to change and profoundly improve themselves, no matter their past mistakes. When inmates consistently observe these transformative values displayed by their Muslim peers, they inevitably start to question their own lives and past decisions. Many begin asking deeper, more profound questions about purpose, self-worth, and personal transformation, questions that ultimately lead them to sincerely explore Islam. Many former inmates who converted to Islam in prison vividly recall that it was not words but actions that influenced them the most. They directly saw how Muslim inmates conducted themselves and truly realized that Islam provided the essential structure and discipline they had been desperately missing in their previous lives. There is a widespread and unfortunate misconception that inmates who convert to Islam in prison somehow become radicalized or automatically pose a security threat after their release. However, the verifiable reality is quite different, and the numbers simply don't support that claim, explains Ramansur. While there have been isolated cases of radicalization in prisons, they are extremely rare. In fact, according to the National Institute of Corrections, NIC, a division of the U.S. Department of Justice that oversees the prison system, there is no substantial evidence that Islam leads to violence or extremism in U.S. prisons. On the contrary, many Muslim inmates are actually known to be more disciplined, peaceful, and genuinely law-abiding than others. They tend to follow prison rules more strictly, actively avoid conflicts, and consistently focus on personal transformation through Islamic teachings. The NIC, a federal agency providing training, research, and resources to improve the U.S. correctional system, plays a crucial role in understanding inmate behavior and shaping policies that support rehabilitation. Through various rigorous studies and reports, the NIC has consistently found that the idea of widespread radicalization among Muslim inmates is largely exaggerated and simply not supported by data. Instead, they have observed that the overwhelming majority of inmates who convert to Islam experience positive changes, becoming more responsible, disciplined, and focused on self-improvement. One critically important fact that needs to be emphasized is that radicalism is fundamentally not a part of true Islamic teachings. Islam is a religion that unequivocally promotes peace, profound compassion, and unwavering justice. Any violent or extremist actions carried out by individuals or groups are never a reflection of Islam itself, but rather a severe distortion of its core principles. In Islam, extremism, whether in the form of violence, coercion, or excessive judgment of others, is strictly forbidden. The religion teaches balance, wisdom, and kindness in all aspects of life. It actively encourages its followers to be patient, to show mercy, and to treat others with profound respect, regardless of their beliefs. For many inmates, embracing Islam has actually helped them develop self-control, patience, and a much stronger sense of personal responsibility. They find deep meaning in prayer, vital structure in daily worship, and a supportive community that actively encourages them to become better individuals. Unfortunately, media narratives often portray Islam in prisons in a misleading way, focusing disproportionately on the rare cases of radicalization while tragically ignoring the overwhelming majority of Muslim inmates who experience genuine personal growth and profound transformation. In fact, many former inmates who converted to Islam in prison go on to positively contribute to society after their release. They help other inmates, actively support rehabilitation programs, and serve as living proof that Islam is not only a source of guidance inside prison, but also a genuine path to a better future. Islam profoundly demonstrates the power to truly transform lives. When someone is incarcerated, many believe their life is effectively over. However, for countless inmates in the United States, Islam has become a pivotal turning point, helping them discover profound purpose, inner peace, and a tangible chance to redeem themselves. Amin Anderson serves as a powerful, living example. After serving decades in prison, he was finally released in July upon completing his lengthy sentence. During his parole hearing, a prison official described him as an exceptional inmate, not solely because of his exemplary behavior, but because of the profound transformation he had undergone behind bars. Anderson himself openly acknowledges that it was Islam that undeniably helped him become the person he is today. He firmly believes that the faith instilled in him guidance, invaluable structure, and a deep understanding of life's true meaning. Now that he is free, he profoundly feels that his journey is only just beginning. To him, freedom is not merely about leaving prison. It is about living a life of profound meaning and purpose. "I believe God gave me a second chance to serve humanity," he humbly stated. "The person whose life I took never got a second chance, so I feel I owe them. I owe their family, their children, to do something meaningful with my life." Now, Anderson diligently works at the Taba Foundation, the very organization dedicated to helping Muslim inmates in the U.S. He lives a peaceful, prayerful life, fully committed to helping others find the same transformative path that so profoundly changed his own life. Ramansur, a co-founder of Taba Foundation, told CBS News that in his 15 years of dedicated work with Muslim inmates, he has rarely seen anyone abandon Islam after being released. This compelling statistic proves that Islam is not merely a temporary phase or a survival mechanism adopted solely for the prison environment. It is a genuine, deep-seated life transformation. Islam offers something invaluable to those who feel they have lost all hope: the undeniable opportunity to change. In prison, many individuals tragically lose everything: their freedom, their families, their dignity, and even their very faith in themselves. However, Islam provides them with much-needed structure and a new, clear sense of direction. Through the consistent practice of the 5 daily prayers, fasting, and profound teachings that emphasize discipline and rigorous self-control, Islam genuinely helps them break free from the destructive habits that once ruined their lives. Moreover, Islam strongly emphasizes sincere repentance, tawbah, and profound forgiveness, teaching that everyone has a genuine chance to improve themselves, no matter how dark or troubled their past may be. In Islam, a person is never defined by their past sins, but by their sincere efforts to become better in the future. Many inmates who convert to Islam feel that for the very first time in their lives, they possess a strong moral compass, a genuinely supportive community, and the empowering belief that their life still holds profound purpose. This is precisely what is unfolding in thousands of prisons across the United States, where inmates who sincerely discover Islam are not just finding a religion, but also discovering profound hope, inner peace, and a tangible new path toward a better life. The incredible journey of how Islam is transforming the lives of thousands of inmates across the United States is a powerful testament to the enduring human spirit. From finding spiritual freedom behind bars to profoundly rediscovering their self-worth and embracing a way of life that brings discipline, peace, and renewed purpose, Islam has given countless prisoners a crucial second chance, a chance to genuinely change and build a better future. The compelling stories we've shared today are irrefutable proof that no matter how dark or desolate a person's past may be, Allah's mercy is always infinitely greater. Islam unequivocally teaches that redemption is possible for anyone truly willing to change, and for many inmates, it becomes the guiding light that leads them out of the deepest darkness. In the often overlooked world of the US prison system, individuals who facilitate and embody this profound religious transformation demonstrate a unique and often controversial form of leadership. Ramansur, through the Taba Foundation, exemplifies this by creating a structured educational pathway for inmates to learn Islam, effectively leading thousands to spiritual awakening. His persistent dedication, despite the inherent challenges of working within the correctional system, directly challenges the notion that inmates are beyond rehabilitation. He is a leader by providing tools and education. Similarly, former inmates like Amin Anderson, upon release, become living, breathing examples of Islam's transformative power. Their choice to continue practicing their faith, and in Anderson's case, to actively work with the Taba Foundation and teach other inmates, is a powerful and often controversial act of leadership. They directly contradict public and media narratives that often paint former inmates as threats or Islam in prisons as a breeding ground for extremism. By simply living a reformed, disciplined life, they implicitly lead by example, encouraging a more compassionate and understanding view of both ex-offenders and Islam itself. Their very existence challenges deeply ingrained societal biases and offers a new narrative of hope and redemption where none was thought possible. This quiet yet profound leadership aims to bridge divides and foster understanding, one transformed life at a time. With that said, thanks for watching, and until the next script.